Well, you just came off the debate,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I have to say that it was a fantastic debate. Definitely the most interesting. And I think, I've been watching a lot of coverage, and your name is finally starting to come up a bit. Are you noticing that as well?
Yeah, the team's thrilled about it. I've been named one of the winners from the debate in a lot of mainstream columns. It's funny having you trying to figure out who's like the apex of political talk shows.
Yeah, do you have an answer to that?
Some of the names that would have jumped out to me would have been George Stephanopoulos, Jake Tapper, people like that.
Our competitors.
Your competitors. Well, I'm just grateful to you for having me on because I know, politics isn't necessarily the focus because people have other more fun, better things to talk about.
Yeah,
A
it's
lot of
hard.
context.
It's hard to get into
But
for a lot of people. It's oversaturated.
that's why I feel like you are such a great candidate because you make it interesting and not just so political. It's actually interesting for anyone, I feel like.
Oh, thank you. That's certainly a goal. And I'm not a politician. I actually have something of a low interest in politics.
Although you did study poli-sci, is that right?
Yeah. So, I can talk about my development. So I was a debater in high school. I went to the World Public Speaking and Debating Championships of 1992 in London, where I got destroyed by anyone with a British accent, which was everybody. So I was like, why does everyone sound so much smarter than me? And so I studied political science and economics in college, and then I went to law school. Spent 5 very unhappy months as a lawyer. But there became a point when I followed politics, and I actually had a list of goals, and one of my goals was to elevate politician, but I didn't want to be one. And I thought I saw what happened, and I thought wow, what a drag most of these political jobs are, especially now in this climate. So my running for president, I joke that my wife Evelyn would have run the other direction if she'd known what was
Right.
So now she's on the campaign trail and enjoying the warmth and love of the support we get.
Yeah, the Yang Gang is strong and vocal, and it's been great to. The last time we had you on was, how long ago was that? 6-7 months ago or something. Back then you were coming up, but I feel like now it's been a steady increase. And even looking back at the recent debate, you still talked the least amount, yet you stood out, in my opinion, the most. Is your strategy, when I watch you debate, I feel like you don't waste words. Is that part of your strategy up there? You speak very directly, very purposefully, and you're very succinct. I find oftentimes you're done talking before your allotted time is up, and people are kind of making a statement in that way. Is that right?
It's been a combination of things. Certainly, we've gotten an incredible reception from debates that I have not spoken that much.
Right.
Where even last night, the team was telling me, I'm not sure what the number is, but I think we've raised over $500,000 since last night's debate immediately, and it has no real. I think it's going to come out that I've raised as much or more than any other candidate after last night.
Really?
And I didn't talk as much as many of
half. Yeah.
Yeah, and so my natural inclination is to answer a question that's asked of me.
Yeah, you do actually answer the question.
I think it's obnoxious if you don't answer the question.
It's
So
one of the reasons why the debates are such a intolerable. It's always the same. It's like this canned answers, and then you ask them a real question, and they end up veering off and back into their talking points.
Yeah.
Everybody's just towing the line, and it's like I found myself fast forwarding some of the other people because it's like, dude, you already said that 5 times in this single debate. But let me ask you, what is it like for you to stand on that stage with some of the most prominent political figures of all time? Of our generation, certainly, and to be sharing a stage with them? Because did you expect already to be have gotten as far as you have been?
This is definitely one of the higher end scenarios I had mapped out.
Right.
I had some low end scenarios projected where you start as like a lone man on a mission and you end as a lone man on a mission.
Right.
You're just like there driving the van around New Hampshire, being like, "Hey guys," and I could have lived with that because, you do what you think is right. You fight for what you believe in, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Like I could have lived with that, but seeing the Yang Gang grow, all of the past number of days and weeks, and then being on this debate stage, one of the fun things about running for president is you wind up getting to know the other candidates in personal ways because you're in the green room with them, or you're in the union hall with them, or you're at the fish fry with them. Like whatever it is, you're just interacting with them as candidates and people. So you get used to it pretty quickly. Like now I have, I'll tell you some fun stories. So I'd been around Bernie maybe half a dozen times, and then I wasn't sure if he liked me because you can't really tell with Bernie. and then he said to a journalist, "I like Andrew," and I was so touched. I was like,
first time you heard it.
"Yeah, I saw in an interview. I was like, Bernie likes me. It's so exciting."
That's pretty badass.
And then the next time I saw him at the next debate in Atlanta, I was like, "Hey, Bernie, thank you for saying something nice about me, that journalist." And then Bernie put his arm around me and was like, "Of course I like you, Andrew. Bring a lot of good ideas to the table." And I have to say, my heart sang. I was like, "Oh, like I feel like my
amazing.
uncle just told me he was, excited about me." So that dynamic, Joe and I actually bond very naturally on a lot of things. He's the most natively concerned about the impact of technology on the economy of the folks, at least I've interacted with directly on this topic. So I will say, I've now become increasingly friendly with more and more of the candidates, but there is a generational gap between me and them. So, like I said last night, I miss Kamala, I miss Corey, I miss Beto and Tulsi. Like these are people that I frankly feel more of like a natural connection to because they're around my age and the same generation.